Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome to this first class here at abumaryam.com. In this class we're going to be explaining the book Al-Arabiyyatu li ghayri natikina biha, Arabic for non-Arabic speakers. The book is commonly known as Madinah Book 1, and the books there are well known. We're going to jump straight into the first class inshallah. I'm not going to have too much of an introduction. What I will say is that this class, I intend for it to be quite comprehensive inshallah. And we're just going to try and get through this first page here in this first class, but we're going to cover a lot. See, with this being a video, you have the option to be able to stop, to take notes, to rewind, and to listen to it over again, which you may need to do, because we're going to try and pack a lot into this first video inshallah ta'ala. So we begin. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Ad-Darsul Awwal. Ad-Darsul Awwal. Ad-Dars we can translate as lesson, and Al-Awwal we can translate as the first. So the first lesson, and the title of it is Hada. Hada is the title of the first lesson. And this Hada, or this kalima, kaf, ka, lam, li, mim, ma, and ta marbuta here at the end. This kalima means word. This kalima Hada is a specific type of kalima in Arabic language. And kalimat, or which is the gem of the plural of kalima. A kalima in Arabic is of three types. The first type of kalima is called an ism. And an ism, we say in Arabic, kalimatun tudillu ala ma'na fi nafsiha wa lam taqtarin fi zaman. It means a word which has a meaning in and of itself, and it's not connected to time. A word which has a meaning in and of itself, and it's not connected to time. That's an ism. And in English we can say a noun. We can translate that as a noun. The second type of kalima is a fi'l. And fi'lun, or fi'l, means verb. In Arabic we say kalimatun tudilla ma'na fi nafsiha waqtarina fi ahadi azmani thalatha. It's a word which has a meaning in and of itself, and it's connected to one of three times. Those times things being the past, the present, and the future. And that's a fi'l. We can translate that in English as a verb. And the last is a harf. In the first few classes we're going to be really having a look at asma, which is the plural of ism. We're going to be learning a little bit about nouns. As for the fi'l and the harf, we're going to get into those in some later lessons inshallah ta'ala. So we were mentioning here about our title Hada, this kalima, the type of kalima that is. So it's an ism, it's a noun, and it's a specific type of an ism as well. We say al-ishara tu, or ism al-ishara. This is a hamza, e. This is a sheen, sha. This is ra, has a fatha, and then this here is a ta marbuta. So when we stop on a ta marbuta, we turn it into a ha. We say ishara, or ismul ishara. So hada is an ismul ishara. Ism we know, noun. Ishara, right, al-ishara means to point, or pointing, or directing. We can translate. So we say hada is a noun of directing, or a noun for pointing. So literally, if we point at something, we can say hada, and it's often translated in English as this. This I like to translate it as the thing that I'm pointing at. The thing that I'm pointing at. Hada is kalima made up of two parts. For the purposes of our class, we just want to understand it as one whole, and we'll understand hada as one whole, as an ismun, or as ismul ishara. We're going to understand it as one whole. For the sake of your benefit, and for the sake of reading as well, will help you a little bit. Hada is made up of ha and the, two parts, which is why when you read this word you say hada with an elongation, a mud after the ha. This ha is for ten bih, ta, ten, noon, ba, ya, ha, tanbih, for tanbihun, for tanbih, which means attention. So it's for getting someone's attention. So it's like saying, hey you, give me your attention, I'm about to say something. So you say ha, and the is the ismul ishara. The is the ismul ishara. So ha is for getting attention, and the is the actual ismul ishara. But we're gonna understand this as one whole and just say hada is a ismul ishara. And that's going to make it easy for us in these first few lessons, inshallah ta'ala. So after we've explained about this word hada and the meaning of it, it's often translated in English as this. I said to you, I like to translate it as the thing I'm pointing at, and the reason why will become clear when we start looking at hada in a jumla. When we look at hada as a part of a jumla, this is a jim, ju, mim with a sukoon, lam with a fatha, and then ended in ta marbuta, jumla. Let's make that look a bit more like a jim. A jumla. A jumla in Arabic is of two types. Ismiya, ismi. This is a ya. Ismi, and it's mushaddad, and this is a ta marbuta. Jumla ismi or jumlatul ismiya. And the second type is fi'liya. This is also a ya, mushaddad, this is a ta marbuta. So jumla, which means sentence, has of two types, ismiya and fi'liya. In our class here we're interested in ismiya. For fi'liya we're going to come to it in a later class, inshallah. Here on our page we have 9 sentences, 9 jumal, and these sentences are all of this type, ismiya, and they're all having the same construction or the same tartib. And the construction is a very simple construction. It's the most basic of all constructions in Arabic language, and also the most important. The jumlatul ismiya is made up of at least 2 parts, or it's made up of 2 parts. And here you can see all of these sentences have 2 words or 2 parts. The first part we call mubtada. This is a dal, sorry. Mim, ba, mub. This is a ta. This is a dal, and the hamza at the end. Mubtada. And the second type. The second type is called a khabar. This is a kha, ba, and a ra, khabar. So jumlatul ismiya is made up of 2 parts, the mubtada and the khabar. Mubtada, it comes from the word bada'a, which means to begin, and that's because we begin the sentence with the mubtada, and the mubtada is the thing that we're speaking about in our sentence. And our sentence here, our first example, hada baytun, what we're speaking about is hada. It's the thing that we want to give some information about it. And as I mentioned to you with the translating, how I like to translate it, the thing that I'm pointing at. So if we were speaking to somebody now and we said to them hada, the person who's listening would ask us that, well, what about the thing that you're pointing at? So then you have to give them the news or the khabar, the information about the thing that you're pointing at. So you say baytun, house, a house. So the thing that I'm pointing at, it's a house. Mubtada, hada, baytun, khabar. The thing that I'm pointing at is a house. So you have your 2 parts of your jumlatul ismiya, your mubtada and your khabar. And the kalima bayt, you can see from the picture in your book, it means house. It comes from the verb or the asl bata. Bata means to spend the night. It's called a bayt because that's the place where you spend the night. So going over our sentence, or going over that which we've learnt so far in this class, we looked at the kalima hada, which was ismul ishara. Then we looked at the jumal or jumla, which is a sentence. We said sentences of 2 types. What we're interested in now here is the first type, ismiya, and we said the jumla ismiya is made up of 2 parts, the mubtada, and the mubtada is the thing about which we're speaking, and the second part is the khabar, and the khabar is the news or the description about that thing. And also as a part of faida, even when we get to a jumla fi'liya, we have 2 important parts, just like we have 2 important parts in the jumla ismiya. And the 2 parts, though their names are different, they're the same in the respect that we always have an ism in the sentence which we're giving information about it. So here the mubtada is an ism, and the khabar is another ism giving information or description about the mubtada, about the first noun, the first ism. And in the fi'liya, we're going to have an ism, and we're going to have a fi'l, and the fi'l is going to be giving information or description about that noun. So in every sentence we have a noun, which is why we're beginning here by studying asma, which is the plural of ism, because an ism, there's no sentence except that it will have an ism in it. But you can have a sentence like we have here, hada baytun, which doesn't have a fi'l or a harf. It's built up of ismani, 2 isms. So we're just going to go through the rest of these sentences and point out this construction. The construction of them is all the same. Hada baytun, hada mubtada, baytun, khabar. This is a house. You can translate it as the thing that I'm pointing at is a house. Hada masjidun. هذا مسجد. And masjid, it comes from the Arabic sajada, sajada, and you'll know this word from sujood, for example, which means to prostrate. And sujood is the prostration, and masjid is the place of prostration. The place of prostration. هذا, the thing that I'm pointing at, it's a masjid. Babun, babun, هذا bab. And bab comes from Arabic bawwaba, with a shadda on the waw, bawwaba, which means to divide. And it's called a bab because it divides the inside from the outside, or it divides one room from another. So here in our sentence again, we have هذا, the mubtada, bab, the khabar. Bab. And we stop bab when we're reading, I would say هذا bab. Sometimes you might hear me pronounce this tanween at the end and say هذا babun, just for the sake of grammar, so you can understand that the ending here is a tanween, a dhammatan. It's a dhammatan. And also know that this word and all of our other words, masjid, bab, as we mentioned, they're all nouns, they're all asma. And we know that because they have this tanween at the end. But just for the sake of reading, remember that Arabs, they always end, or in Arabic we always end on a sukoon. So when we read, we turn this tanween into a sukoon and we say هذا bab, هذا bayt, هذا masjid. Our next example, هذا kitab. And kitab is from the Arabic kataba, kaf, ta, ba. Kataba means to write, and kitab is a book. So we can see the connection between this word and its root, kataba. The actual origin of the word kataba means to collect, and it's called writing is called kataba because it's a collection of letters or a collection of words, right? And a kitab also is a collection of words or a collection of chapters and paragraphs and so forth. So that's where you get the word kitab. So hada kitab, the thing that I'm pointing at, it's a book. Hada is the mubtada, kitab is the khabar. And likewise hada qalam, hada is the mubtada, qalamun is the khabar, qalam pen. Hada is the mubtada here, miftah, hada miftah, hada mubtada, miftah is the khabar. This is a key. Miftah, it comes from the word fataha, which means to open, and the miftah is the tool. The tool, you call this ism al-ala. Ala means tool. It's the tool for opening. The tool for opening. Hada miftah. Hada maktab. Maktab also comes from kataba. This root here, kataba. It's the place where you write. The place where you write. You can translate maktab as a desk or so hada maktab. This is a desk, and we have a mubtada hada, and maktab is our khabar. Hada sarirun. Hada is the mubtada, sarirun is the khabar. Hada sarir, the thing that I'm pointing at, is a bed, or this is a bed. And our last example, hada kursiyun. Hada is the mubtada, the thing that I'm pointing at, or this kursiyun is a chair. This is a chair, or kursi. As I said, we stop on the sukoon when we're reading. So just to summarize this class in brief, inshallah, we started by looking at the kalimah, the word kalimah hada. We said hada is a ismul ishara. It's a noun for pointing. We translate often in English as this. It's a noun. And then we looked at a jumla, and we said the jumla is of two types. A sentence is either ismiya, nominal, or fi'liya, verbal. And the nominal sentence is made up of two parts. The first part is the mubtada, and it's the thing that we want to give information about it. And the second part is the khabar, and it's the information that we're giving about the mubtada, or the description of the mubtada. And just so you can understand, if we look at our sentence, for example, hada qalamun, when you speak to somebody and you say to them hada and you stop, now you haven't made a sentence, you just said a single word. And what will happen is the person who is listening to you will be waiting, and there will be no benefit taken except that you need to say another word. Because if you said, even in English, you said this, you pointed to something and said this, the person who's listening to you will say, well, what about this? So you have to give them a khabar, you have to give them some information or some news about the thing that you're pointing at. So likewise in Arabic, you'll say hada qalamun, the thing that I'm pointing at, then you've got to give the khabar, the information about it, is a pen. And thus, we must have at least two parts to make a sentence. So we're going to stop there. That's the end of the first class. Jazakallahu khair, barakallahu feekum, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.